Hello, I'm Doug DeWitt, T-shirt transfer paper product manager here at Condé Systems, welcoming you to video number 6 in our series on the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark T-shirt transfer paper. As you might be aware, Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark is a two-step self-weeding transfer paper which is designed so that you can apply full color graphics onto dark cotton or cotton polyester blend garments. Now, with a laser printer like our Laser Imprints Go Uno, using a 4-color process, this printer can reproduce 16.7 million color combinations. However, the majority of calls that I get when it comes to Imageclip Laser Dark are clients who usually have a difficult time trying to hit certain color combinations. So what we're going to do today is we're going to perform a test using Rgb Color Charts to see which colors we can accurately reproduce with Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark and which colors are going to have dropout issues. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring you over to my computer and show you a slide presentation of exactly what's happening to the paper both inside the printer and when the white emulsion sheet is applied to the transfer. Next, we're going to go to the heat press so we can demonstrate applying the white base to these Rgb color charts. After that, we'll apply the color charts to some black 100% cotton t-shirts so that you can see the finished result. Once we're finished, we'll summarize what we've learned in today's video. So let's go ahead and jump over to the computer and let me begin the slide presentation. Now that we're here at the computer, let's begin our presentation on using an Rgb color chart with the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark transfer paper. As you can see here, I have an example of our Condé Rgb color chart, where the blue value is locked in at 60 and the red and green values run in increments of 15 ranging from 0 to 255. In this first slide, where we have blue at 60 and red at 45 and green at 15, we have a fairly dark color. As you can see by this slide, here's a representation of what that particular color scheme looks like under a loupe or a magnifying glass at 10 times magnification. As you can see, what a printer does is it uses a pixel pattern of black, cyan, magenta, and yellow dots to create a certain particular color. Now, in the case of this particular color being a dense color, you notice the dense dot pattern associated. That means that the printer has to put down a significant toner layer in order to reproduce this particular color. However, when you get into colors that are lighter in the color scale, such as this example here, where the blue value is locked in at 255, let's analyze the color of red 225, green 195, and blue 255. By this slide, as we see this color under a loupe or magnifying glass at 10 times magnification, what you can see is that the printer doesn't use nearly as many dots or toner dots to recreate this particular color. What we've got to remember is when it comes to the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark, the white opaque base, which is on the transfer sheet, is feeling for a solid toner layer that is printed on the image sheet. Whenever you are working with solid base colors, such as blacks, reds, or blues, the printer is depositing a significant toner layer. That way, when we take our transfer sheet and we lay it over the imaging sheet, the white opaque base can easily distinguish between the toner layer and the paper layer, which is what's giving the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark its self-weeding ability. However, from the bottom of the slide, if we are using lighter colors, those lighter colors do not create a significant toner layer. At this point, the issue becomes the white opaque base cannot distinguish between the thin toner layer and the paper itself. And what we've got to remember is wherever the white base comes in direct contact with the paper, it is designed not to stick. Therefore, we have to be careful in which color combinations we choose in order to get Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark to work successfully. So, let's go over to our printer, we'll send through a set of color charts, and then we'll move to the heat press so that we can apply the white base. Here is our Condé Systems Rgb Color Chart, which can be downloaded under the PartnerNet section of our website. Just visit www.condé.com access PartnerNet, and you can download this Corel color chart. As you can see, the blue values are locked in, and then the red and green values run in increments of 15, ranging from 0 to 255. Let's go ahead and send this entire file through to our Go Uno printer. Now that we're here at the heat press, let's go ahead and apply the white opaque base to our RGB color charts using the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark t-shirt transfer paper. Before you begin, the one thing that you want to note is your heat press settings. You want to go ahead and make sure that your heat press is calibrated as accurately as you can for using Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. My heat press, which is a George Knight digital combo press, I have set at 245 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to set it at that temperature because the press will oscillate up and down a couple of degrees. But as long as I'm between 240 to 250 Fahrenheit, I should be in a good range to apply the white base. I've got my timer set at 20 seconds, so let's go ahead with our first color chart, which will be this chart here where the blue value is set to 0. I will take my Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark transfer sheet, which has the white opaque base, lay it over the print, and we're going to press at 245 degrees for 20 seconds. Now what you want to do when you're performing this test is you don't want to mess around with your press settings once you start. Leave the pressure knob alone, leave the temperature alone. What you try to do is look at the temperature gauge every time you drop the press to make sure you are in that acceptable range. Let's lift our press, and let's peel these two sheets apart while they're still warm. Like so. The reason you don't want to mess with your press calibration settings is because as you start moving through your RGB color charts, as the blue value starts to increase, what you might discover is that some of these lighter colors may start dropping out. That is okay. We need to figure out which colors we can accurately reproduce with our equipment. So keep applying the color charts using the same temperature, time, and pressure for every one. Let me give you an example using this color chart with the RGB value set at 225. Again, I will take my opaque base sheet, cover my printed image, lining it up on the same spot on my heat press, and pressing at the same temperature range, which is 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 seconds using a light to medium pressure. Remember, once you calibrate your press, leave the press settings alone and keep running through all the color charts. This one should be ready to go. Let's see these results. As you can see, some of the white base did not adhere to every single color on this blue 225 color chart. That's okay. We're going to run through the rest of the color charts. We're going to go ahead and apply them to some black Hanes Beefy Tee 100% cotton shirts, and then we'll take a look at the finished results to see what colors we can accurately catch with Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. So, we're here with our finished t-shirts where we've applied the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark onto black 100% cotton Hanes Beefy Tee t-shirts. And as you can see from the first set of samples, we were able to get great results with the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark as long as we're using RGB values where the blue value starts at 0 and ranges to 135. In other words, any combination of colors in between blue equaling 0 and 135, we should be able to accurately reproduce with Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark using a Laser Imprints Go Uno. Now, if you're using a different color laser printer or copier, your results may vary. Just bear that in mind. Now, let's take a look at our second set of t-shirts in the RGB Color Chart and see those results. Now we have our second set of color charts done using Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark off of a Laser Imprints Go Uno and applied to Hanes Beefy Tee 100% cotton black t-shirts. As you can see from this second set of color charts, where the blue value is equal to 150 or 165, we're still able to accurately reproduce every color in that spectrum. However, once the blue value starts to get into 180 and above, as you can see, there are sections of the color chart where we could not get the white base to properly adhere. What we've got to remember is whenever you have a red, blue, green value that's at 180 to 255, what that essentially means is that your printer is putting down a very light toner layer to reproduce that color. If the toner layer is too light, you might have difficulty getting the white opaque base from the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark to adhere to that thin toner layer, which is why you should reproduce this test for your own color laser printer or copier to see the results for yourself. Now, let's go back to our computer monitor so that we can show you the range of RGB values that we consider the danger zone when using Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark. Now that we've reviewed the RGB color charts printed on our black Hanes Beefy Tee 100% cotton shirts and we saw the dropout areas in our RGB color charts, we can go ahead and define what I'm going to refer to as a danger zone. Basically what this means are certain RGB color combinations where we could not get the white base from the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark to successfully apply to some of these lighter colors. As you can see, as the blue value increases in increments of 15, what we start to notice is that it does not take the red value long before the colors start to drop out. As a matter of fact, as the blue value increases, we notice the dropout as the red value is decreasing. In other words, the more blue we apply and the less red, it creates a lighter color which may cause dropout. From what we saw from our color charts, it seemed like the green value seemed pretty consistent at about around 180. So if you want to create an easy number to remember, make sure that when you are using Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark and you are using RGB process colors in your design, you want to use colors where the red, green, and blue values are below 180. If you have a certain process color where the red, green, or blue value is at 180 or above, you might run into trouble trying to get the white base to properly adhere to that particular process color. My advice would be to go back into your graphic and drop one of those three numbers below the 180 threshold to make sure that you can accurately apply the white base. So now let's quickly review what we covered today in this instructional video. When it comes to the Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark t-shirt transfer paper, if you want to transfer solid colors successfully, your best bet is to make sure that the RGB value of the color that you're trying to transfer is below 180. Now, bear in mind, since we're using a Laser Imprints Go Uno, it's using a very heavy toner. There are printers in the market that use lighter toner formulations than this particular Go Uno. Usually they're reserved or made to be office printers as opposed to graphics printers. The point is, the toner weight may also have an effect. So no matter what system you have, you should perform this RGB color test to find out which colors you can accurately reproduce. Now, it will vary depending on the printer and how well you have your heat press calibrated. But if you want to use a safe number, as long as your R, G, or B values are below 180, you should be okay. If your R, G, or B values are above 180, you might run into difficulty trying to get the white base to adhere successfully. I hope this video has answered a lot of your questions regarding Neenah Imageclip Laser Dark and how to use it properly. However, should you have any questions or need additional information, don't hesitate to contact us directly at 1-800-826-6332, or you can visit our website at www.condé.com for more information. Until then, my name's Doug DeWitt, Transfer Paper Product Manager here at Condé Systems. My time is up. I thank you for yours.